every step in the journey is a sacred step indeed. Just put one foot in front of the other, and you'll have everything you need.
So, here we are. Maybe I'll play my bowl for you.
Oh, yay.
So, just breathing and I'm rejoicing in this opportunity to connect with you, Sarah, and to be here now and simply observe. My intention is to observe our intuitive thoughts, observe our intuitive thoughts together and have a dialogue and just notice what comes out, because you know
I like that.
last time we got into such interesting things, and I was saying, and we said a couple things about, some of our friends might benefit from hearing some of this or might enjoy it in some way. So I guess that's what
Yeah.
inspired me to press record on our session today.
Cool. It sounds wonderful.
What's coming up for you right now?
Just that there's so much beauty opening in the field. It's really, as a solar Christed being, it's like opening presents on Christmas. I can feel access points to all of the lifetimes where this soul has embodied the Christos identity. They're all coming back and just cascading into my being in this life. And it's like tasting a million different flavors of wonderful.
Wow, that
and
sounds
there's
really
and
nice.
there's all this crazy chaotic pandemic, unknown financial unknown, um, human body that somehow I've got to translate and transmit all these beautiful lifetimes into. Um, so yeah, it's quite a time.
Yeah, yeah, sounds like a lot of energy circulating around you right now, and me too as well. I feel I'm not super familiar with the what you say is the Christos consciousness, but I know this one system that I know in terms of astrology, those of us with Saturn and Aquarius, we're experiencing the natal return to the Saturn in its natal position. And for me, it's in my first house, just so happens to be in that first house of identity. So it's like all these factors are swirling back into my identity and my my external facing identity, how I show up. And
Mm-hmm.
I find myself creating all this content, which I never thought I would seriously ever do. I went to conservatory for music school and, didn't really connect to a broad sort of that outward facing perspective. And yet here we are. And it's really beautiful to, begin opening up to receive um, insights and messages, just, and really everybody, I think we all have it, even especially our pets. I watch my pet Balthazar, and he teaches me he teaches me which route to take if we're hiking, and there's a craggy section. I'm not quite sure what the best footing is. I just follow him, and he always seems to find the perfect spot to navigate.
Oh, that's so cool. I love Balti. Where is he?
He is taking a nap downstairs.
He's napping. Aww.
Yeah, he's resting. Another beautiful lesson from the animals, from the canine creatures to the human creatures. Resting,
Yes.
integrating.
Yes.
So last
Something you
time,
said. Yeah, go ahead.
last time we were discussing, I want to see if we can resurrect that feeling that we were like, oh my God, we need to film this, because last time we were discussing effortless manifestation strategies. So remember what was that thing? What was that thread?
What was it? I think we were talking about how when we're connected with kind of the organic flowing rhythm of life, that life just becomes this outpressing of that flow, which is effortless. You know, just kind of like, I used to say, like a fish that's born for the water, right? It's like there's all these flying fish in the brain, those are like all the concepts and the ideas, like I could do this on my website, and I could create that song, and I could do this. And they all are about the mental body superimposing an idea, which takes effort. Then there's this rising up kind of this organic embodied life force, which is really self-love. And as the self-love starts to permeate the being, then all of a sudden, all of these creations become ripe. And so it's like the ripening of creation. It's got two different metaphors now, right? The fish that are coming down, the flying fish, into the water, and the tree that's rising up to give its fruit. And you know, when that fruit is ready to fall from the tree, it's just right there, and it falls right, it lets go. And so if we think of our creations, our classes, our workshops, our what it is we really desire to manifest, that those things are like fruit, that when they're ripe, they just effortlessly are released. When they're not ripe, you can chant to them, you can sing to them, you can say, get ripe, and they're just gonna sit there and be like, sorry, it's not my due date yet. So I think aligning, you know, and then like for me, it's been 36 and a half years of gestation with very little fruit that ever releases into anything that I can tangibly especially as far as like yielding financial abundance, right? It's been 36 and a half years of just like, I don't know, you know, this meta-galactic valedictorian, and then on Earth, just like this, like, what am I doing down here kind of thing. So yeah, I think when the convergence point happens with the manifestation and when it's meant to be released, and all those things line up, it releases so naturally, just so naturally. Yeah, I think you had this really cool phrase, like effortless,
bubbles.
Strategic. Oh, I don't remember.
There's something with bubbles. There was something with like fizzy bubbles coming out. Yeah, effortless emanation strategies.
Bubbles of effervescent blossoming.
Yeah, and it's just kind of coming, it's just kind of happening, it's just kind of percolating and just doing itself almost. No, I love the flying fish. I have a lot of flying fish up here too. It's like, oh, did you do that? Did you do that? Oh yeah.
You should do this. You should do that. You should do this.
Such
you should
a
do
distraction.
that. And it's like, Yeah, and
Well, and language, getting sensitive to language too. Like, I'm not like a huge like language police or anything, but I've gotten really sensitive to certain words that I get nerdy about. So anytime I hear them, I just like, there's a little devil's advocate in the back of my mind that's like, ha ha ha, I caught you. Should and trying. Anytime I hear those words, I put a little asterisk in my mind to say, oh man, it's 3 o'clock. I really should go out to the store. I really should do my yoga today. It's like, well, I think I can dream a bigger dream for my life today than doing something out of a should.
yeah.
So I'm really playing with that, and I'm really playing with the word trying. Anytime I hear like, I'm trying to get my website done. It's like, well,
Yeah.
if I'm trying to get my website done, I'm placing my desire on striving, right? I don't
Right.
know.
And there really is that inorganic pushing and forcing. Like I think we talked about it, you've got gene key 34. I can't remember where it is in your chart, but that's all about divine feminine and divine masculine combining to create this majestic flow of manifestation, of action that emanates from this regal divine organic energy. It's just like, it just, the word majesty, if you feel into that word, it's like, whoa. And then feel into the word force.
Yeah, it's buzzy. It's
right?
like,
It's just no.
yeah.
And then feel into the word majesty. It's like,
Spacious
whoa.
and just,
Right, the feminine is right there with the masculine, right? It's
yeah.
not the masculine tyrant, like tyrannically saying, get to work, get to work. It's this partnership of the strategic brain with all the concepts and all these ideas, and this divine feminine love with all this desire to bring goodness. And then you put them together and it's the ripe fruit that's ready, to be released.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's so lovely. Honestly, even just dreaming into that concept and playing with it and inquiring more about it, giving other metaphors for it, songs, stories, channeling, that might even be really something I would be curious about. What is it? How does it feel to be in that place of effortless emanation, of majestic, spacious, this is me, I'm just here, and this is all happening, and I'm allowing it to happen, and I'm acting, like I'm free associating now to like cooking, I'm chopping, I'm smashing the garlic, I'm not butchering, I'm chopping up, maybe I'm chopping up the chicken, it's active. There's activity going on, but it's a non-doing as well, because I'm just like so engrossed in my cooking, and I'm cooking with desire and with gusto and with, maybe let's say I'm cooking, for enjoyment, for a really enjoyable experience. Or if I'm a passionate professional chef, and I'm really cooking, it's not passive. Things are getting done, but it seems like one potential emanation coming from a
Oh,
flow state.
absolutely. I mean, cooking's a beautiful example because there's this, I want to say, like, let's just say when you're relaxed and when you're in the flow, there's like this symphony of creative desire and interaction with the food and the colors and the smells and the combinations and I mean, it's a very co-creative act because your conscious self is partnering with this desire to bring nourishment, right? And and to interact with all the beautiful foods and the energies that are in all the foods and the colors and the spices and the way we combine them together. And especially, excuse me, especially if you're preparing food with friends and you feel that crystalline energy with each other, that cooperation that happens when you prepare nourishment together. To me, that's like one of the most sacred things that I can do in the entire world, is lovingly gather with people I love and prepare food. It's probably some of my highest moments on the earth plane have happened like that. And just simple things where like someone says, okay, you chop up the green onions,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll chop the tomatoes, and you prepare the if you're vegan or whatever, the vegan contents, the tempeh, and then you're all preparing towards that central goal, that you're all going to eat that food together, that it's all coming together and that you're all part of it. And I think that's an amazing metaphor for the synergy that happens as the earth moves out of separation consciousness and into unity consciousness. Her global brain actually begins to like have the instruction sets for every one of us, like in this massive kitchen. You prepare the this, you prepare the that, and we're all part of this symphony of celebration and nourishment. And so
that feels kind of like a really important image you just gave me, though, because I saw everybody in the kitchen, and you kind of said people were freely pitching in with different, like, well, you do this and maybe I'll do this. Yeah, and it seems like that's what we have to do. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
It's community. Well, we're talking about the planet, healing the planet and everything going on, and it's so feels so difficult to say that, like, oh, everybody just go with the flow and it'll be fine. But like, seriously, we actually do have to get into certain flows, and that is some of us.
Michael Jackson is channeling right straight through me right now.
What are you getting now?
He's singing, heal the world, make it a better place for me and for you and the entire human race. There are people dying if you care about the living. He's totally right there singing to me. I think he's in my soul monadic group.
What is that soul monadic group? I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, well, there's so many different takes on what that is, but in our soul group, where we share the same oversoul. I mean, I was talking to the Pleiadians and they said there's 128,000 something or other of us. And I know John Denver's in there, and we could say that famous people. You're probably in there. Anybody you have a really sweet, intimate connection with, that you just feel like when you meet them that they're a part of you, that they're probably sharing the same oversoul.
Okay.
Most likely. Yeah, and so you're the potential to be a soulmate and have that experience is with anybody in that soul group. So
okay.
And there's other people that say, oh, the soul group only has like 25 members or 75 members, or I get so many different people that say so many different things. But I know there's a certain kinship with Michael that I have that comes quite a bit. Yeah, he was all of a sudden USA for Africa just starts playing out of nowhere on my computer, and I'm like, oh, okay, Michael, I gotta listen to Heal the World right now. That's what's playing. And right now and then he's coming in right through my left ear, and he's just like, heal the world. Yeah. This is what my song was all about. This. Yes. And I'm like, okay, cool. So
yeah, so Michael Jackson's coming through
Ascension.
one of our guides. Yeah, one of our guides.
He's coming to help us with Ascension, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. What a beautiful, amazing being. So, did I interrupt what we were talking about that nourishment, that feast that we're all part of preparing? Because I know Michael
Not really.
Jackson came in and
You got Heal the
okay.
World, and well, yeah, and I was just feeling like I was just seeing that happen, that meal happen that you were describing, and how what was it about that? How it really will take shape. You know, it's happening. It's literally happening. It's gonna happen. All the ingredients are there. It's not a matter of what do I have to do so that it'll happen. It's like this meal is getting cooked, and the meal is the moment right now that we're in. And
yeah,
it might not taste very good right now. You know, if we use the ingredients that I'm seeing, it might be a little bit of a bitter salad.
Exactly.
But
yeah,
you know, if we can get this person in to get this person to bring some hummus, and this person bring some tortilla chips, maybe we'll have a decent meal.
Some baba ganoush, some fruit.
Maybe.
Some yeah. It's like we all bring our best, you know, and it's like every chord is needed for the song, right? It's like I often see it as a symphony as well, where every one of us is an instrument in this great symphony, and as we allow the fullness of source to play through the instrument, it makes I keep the word quintessential. It's like it brings the quintessence of our soul's identity, right, at the highest level. And then when we all combine our quintessence, then there's this emergent property, you know, of ecstatic communion, which truly begins to contribute to the resurrection of the planet. I mean, that's how the planet resurrects, is through this uniting of all the pieces that have been shattered and scattered, and they all come home, and this communion overtakes the separation, and the planet ascends. And we're all part of that as the global brain cells in her mind, right? We're all the brain cells in the one global mind, seeking to wake up, to come online, to co-create an emergent property of bliss, like a field blossoming all on its own, each little cell coming fully home to its deepest individuality, contributing to the greatest unity. This is my song. I'm actually speaking.
Keep going. I'm savoring it as you go. Keep going. Would you like to sing the song, or would you like to?
Yeah. Let me grab my guitar.
Okay.
I'll grab my guitar.
Sure.
Let's see. Let's see if I can actually remember it. I actually have the video. I could put a link to it, but let's see if I can remember. At least I'll remember part of it.
Yeah, even just a snippet. It was really resonant for me as well.
Oh, I'm in drop D. Hold on one second. Tuning. Oops. All right. Okay.
Okay.
See if I can remember it. All right, let's see. mic. Let's see if, let me know if you can hear me, okay? Do you hear that all right? Okay. Christos Sophia, we descend into the darkest reaches of matter, that we can climb the ladder to the stars and restore the journey of Venus. Spirit resurrected in form. Oh, oh, we are gods and goddesses from the stars. That's who we are. And we wear the cloak of the warrior masculine, vaporizing all the shackles of fear that have been laid down here. Liberation, our cause. Gene Key 39. Liberation, our cause. That all may be free, that all may be risen in victory, victory to the Spirit. That all may feel and hear it. And the song of unity rises in all of itself. We are all the brain cells in the one global mind, seeking to wake up, to come online, to co-create an emergent property of bliss, like a field blossoming all on its own, each little cell coming fully home to its deepest individuality, communic contributing to the greatest unity, like a multi-celled organism with one surface, like a multi-celled organism with one purpose, rising in love, rising in light. We all need each other. Oh wait, rising in one planet of glorious light. Your hand in mine, and my hand in yours. That's the only way our spirit can soar to new heights, a new dawn. The song lingers on, but I love you, I love you, I do. I love that you love what is true. I love you, I love you, I do. I love parts of it, but I got most of it.
That was gorgeous. I got so much listening to that beautiful
Yeah,
song, Love Song to the
actually,
Warriors of
that
Peace.
song was a spontaneous emanation of, I had a little bit of a rough moment with my beautiful, beautiful friend, Laura Magdalene Eisenhower. And do you know Laura Eisenhower? She's the granddaughter of President Eisenhower.
Oh, wow.
And she's really, really connected with global healing and disclosure and Divine Mother. And God, freaking earphones are all tangled up. And when I met her, I knew that she was one of my greatest beloveds of ever. I just loved her so much. And yeah, we had a little argument and I was so sad. And I was just wanting to bring us back to our balance and our love. And I just sat down and I had my 2 chords, G and A minor 7. And I was just like, oh, here's the whole thing. It just flooded out. The whole thing just came.
Whoa, talk about spontaneous emanation. Well, what an amazing story and amazing song. And yeah, that part really struck me too. We're all brain cells in one global mind seeking to wake up, come online to co-create an emergent property of bliss, like a field blossoming all on its own, each little cell fully coming home to deepest individuality, contributing to the greatest unity, like a multi-celled organism with one purpose, rising in love, rising in light. I mean, as a channel or an intuitive being, I just like wanted to just go to that field and I just became one of the flowers. And I just was asking the flower, like, well, Sarah and Ocean are wondering what individuals can do to increase the vibration of the planet, and they're worried. And the flowers are like, so I think we could almost go there and really go to that place, because then, and I know we're like kind of conversing and sharing downloads at the same time. It's kind of a light channeling is what's happening.
Yeah, we're just spontaneous channeling, intuition flow.
Spontaneous intuition flow channeling. And so the individual flower in the spontaneous flow of the flower field in your song are telling me there's nothing to do. Simply be.
Just be.
See, being the flower being an opening and flourishing. The other flowers around you will just simply see how gentle you're being with yourself, and maybe they'll change, maybe they won't, but there's something there, really deep message that I received during your song about that we don't have to do anything in order to accomplish this thing. It's not like we have to go out there and like really hit anybody over the head or make something better.
Right.
We just have to like be so radiant and gentle than just as ourselves. Like, I don't know. Are you getting anything from the field? Or
yeah, absolutely. In that radiance of sort of effortless prosperity that is just beingness, everything blossoms. It's like, you know how like in our field, like in our in our life streams and our many past lives and even our parallel lives and our future lives that are all in this now on some level, a fractal of this now. Like any traumatic memory, any place where it's like, I've got to change that. I don't like this about myself. So I've got to change it, and I've got to fix it, and I've got to work on it. The amazing thing that I'm finding lately is that the more you rest in that pure acceptance of all that is, in this already always abundantly radiating life, right? It's like you don't have to do There's this perfect sun in every one of us, this just pure love. And the more we rest in that sun, in that, like, held on Divine Mother's lap, and just lapping up, you know, two ways of seeing lap. You know, the lap is what you sit in, but lapping is when you just drink in, like a dog that laps up the water, and allowing the water to just permeate, the divine waters to permeate in the now moment, and everything heals. Like, it gives space for everything to mature.
Wow, I love your lap pun. That
My
lap is like,
lap.
because the dog's tongue lapping the water is creating a cup, and the lap of a baby sitting on an adult is creating a space, a cradling space, and it's a
Yeah.
temporary space. A lap can be created, but if you stand up, the baby's gonna fall off. You have to rest.
Yeah, so like
you have
you
to
have to rest.
assume the position so that you have a lap to sit on, to lap up. You have to stick your tongue out and catch the snowflake. Yeah.
Right. It's like the daughter is like the one who's doing the lapping, right? The drinking, but and then the mother, the son, right? The self that is receiving, and then the self that is giving is bringing the lap, is bringing the lap. So we are the givers and the receivers. You know, it's when the earth was severed from her divine mother in Andromeda, the mother-daughter matrix was severed from itself. And so as we're coming back and creating a through line back to our mother Andromeda, the divine mother and the divine child are coming back together. So there's this, you know, and whether you're in a feminine body or a masculine body, that image of the divine mother, you know, really coming back, because she was ripped away from this earth about 5,500 years ago in a pretty violent act. We lost so much of this divine mother, and now she's coming back. And so it's this beautiful return of mother and child. And in that loving return and that loving connection, nourishment, with that self-love circuit of the mother and the child, everything's healed and everything. It may take time for all to come home into that love, but ultimately that's the place where everything that has gone wrong is made right. And so it's not really a time about creating more stuff out there. It's a time of resting in the love that we already are, that we've always had.
If we're not resting, yeah, and I'm seeing a photo negative of what you just said too, which is like the minute we stop resting, we're striving, and then it's all over in terms of what we're trying to do on this planet. You know, something about that, like that very moment that I would leave that receptivity to inspirations, it would be, yeah, the start of a tricky, but it's tricky too. Like, I think, you know, bearing witness to some of the sad pieces of life and difficulties that are going on, like, you know, in yoga, they use the word samskaras, and, you know, I'm certainly not having you know, African-American experience in my body, but and I certainly am not experiencing COVID really right now, and yet I know in some of my experiences I've been made to feel a sense of separateness, and that those wounds never really went anywhere or went towards healing by trying to fix them in any way, shape, or form, or trying to get over, quote unquote, like, you know, none of that. It's like they need to be sung to, they need to be drawn
Oh,
out, you know,
yeah.
suck the poison out of the wound, you know. It's not
Yes.
like, yeah, it's not like I'm gonna meditate the traumas away or something, you know. So I think that's
Right.
that. I mean, I don't know, you know, who, if anybody would, you know, hear us talking this way and sort of say, hey, you know, this
No,
is
I
all
mean,
peace and flowers.
it's not
And
spiritual bypassing. It's like, because
yeah,
the more that you bring the light in, the more that the unhealed parts surface. And there's lots of weeping and gnashing of teeth and and feeling these traumas. It's like you have to feel it to heal it. There's no
wow,
way.
yeah.
There's no like, that's you know, kind of a short, fast slogan, but it says it all. I mean, there's no way out but through. We went through these traumatic doors we have to go out through the same door we went in. It
Yes,
has
and
to be felt.
yes.
And it's a lot, and there's a lot. And the more you bring in that divine mother love, the more you're going to be weeping. It's an enema. Oh, it really is.
Yes.
I mean, this is an enema. You bring in the clear light, and then your DNA has to let go of the separation.
Yeah.
Right? It's
So
like
it's
you
a
bring in
full
that.
sweep.
It's a full sweep of drawing in the light, and then going through the traumatic memories in order to unite the DNA. It's like, this is what it feels like for me, is that like the light comes in and it locks on to a whole bunch of DNA that's unconscious. That's not embodied, and it calls it forth to come into embodiment. Well, the reason why that DNA bundle, or some people call it junk DNA, was out of consciousness and not part of the motherboard, right? It was out of consciousness is because it was traumatized out of consciousness. So to bring it back into consciousness, you have to go through the trauma that threw it out, which I call the rejection identity. It's like trauma is like this rejection identity. It causes the DNA to be repelled from itself. So when the divine mother love comes in and surrounds all those fractured pieces that are repelled, they all have to weep at the experience of not being one with each other as they join the motherboard. And then that integrates, and the next level of light comes, and you do the next level, and you just keep retrieving more and more of the DNA that's left out of consciousness into consciousness and embodiment. Wow. Right? And it's quite a journey. It's quite a journey.
You just gave me like a vision of like, you know, a bone, you know, bone breakage, bone shattering, and like when the bones are reset and healed, in the medical science, supposedly, I say it's stronger, the bone is stronger than it was before. And maybe that's my optimism coming in again through my Sagittarius moon. But it's like, and that's the cool part about, but it's not a cool part about learning in this journey that you just described, is that then those difficulties and obstacles seem to become superpowers in some way. They become vehicles for consciousness. So
that's such a beautiful way to put it. We really do. It's through living through these traumas that we become, that our compassion really grows. And then if someone in our life is going through a similar type of trauma, we're really, really able to guide them and be there for them. Yeah. Sorry if I interrupted you.
No, it was an ecstatic addition.
Ecstatic interruption.
An ecstatic addition. That I was complete. I completely appreciate that. And yeah, you know, I see that. Like, wow, and that's what makes this process so cool too. It's really not, it's not about opting out of feeling the negative.
My friend is persistently trying to get a hold of me. I'm going to send her a message.
A little note. Sure.
She wants to gather in circles and sing and hum around trees with groups of people, because she had this beautiful dream of just people gathering and circling up around trees and humming and singing. And I'm like, I just texted her, yes, yes, yes. And so she's texting
Yeah.
me back, and I'll just tell her that I'll call you back. Call
Um,
you back.
That is such a
And
beautiful dream, because
I know, isn't it?
it's like the concentric rings of the tree, and then the humans creating even one more ring.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's
And when I was doing a meditation on the healing of money, I saw the healing of money was connected to all of us singing and dancing around this great mother tree of creation. And
that is a
literally,
whole
like,
nother, we could almost, I'm sorry,
no, it's okay.
sorry, I just got excited. I got excited because that's like a whole threshold into a new thing that we could eventually discuss, is the healing of the money story. I mean, that one in my Saturn returns journey, I'm just like, just barely beginning to explore. You know, I'm a resourceful human, and I'm responsible, and I'm fine, but actually looking at the money story and healing it is so interesting. It's a huge and whole nother facet about, and like working with sacral chakra, how do we attract and manifest our desires? And money is energy.
Yeah, and I took a course called Love Money, Money Loves You with Sarah McCrum. And Sarah, the spirit of money came to her and wrote an entire book through her called Love Money, Money Loves You.
Wow.
And yeah, and she talks about money as a super, well, a very high being that is not of this earth, that came to serve and be a part of this earth. And it's the energy of circulation. And she talks about, and so all through this course and through her book, money is instructing us how to align with it, how to, and we know that so many systems on this planet have harnessed money into a real descending matrix of enslavement and misery. Mm-hmm. So it's a real challenge to re-encrypt the financial system so that it vibrates as a faithful representation of the true intention of what the spirit of money wants for humanity. And yeah, it's a huge topic. And the family of the Christ was literally the rituals that have been done to keep the family of the Christ from ever having money are unbelievably just thorough. And so it's really challenging. If you're a Christed being, there's a lot of belief systems. Everyone who vibrates as the Christ basically has been, there's massive curses that anyone who vibrates as the Christ will never have money. They're everywhere. So those that are really like way showers or leaders in the Christic architecture are going to be the very ones that have the gnarliest time with money. Mm-hmm. So it becomes this journey of unlocking almost, well, you have to unlock the key codes of the Divine Mother in order to unlock the money, because love is money. So to the degree that you can receive love in a physical body, right? Like you can be a master at receiving love when you're out of your body and being in ecstasy. But if you can't receive it in your root, which means you got to clear the biggest sanskaras that humanity carries are in the lower chakras, right? Because for the light to get down there, it's a much bigger deal.
Yes.
And so all the sexual traumas really connected to this. The root, the survival fears directly connected to this. So if the lower chakras are not part of your embodiment, you're not going to be able to have money flow to you at all. because it's root sustenance. And so that my biggest challenge, you know, is getting into my root chakra and getting into my sexual chakra. Biggest challenge of my life. And the other biggest challenge is making money, having money come to me. So they're totally connected. So when I break the curse and actually make the flow happen, then we'll have another live in 100,000 years when that happens. No, I'm just kidding.
I look forward to that rebirth.
No, I mean, I think it's coming soon. I think the whole financial system is going to have to be re-imprinted by a divine, loving, Christic energy, like really, and taken out of the hands of those that are service to self entities that only want power. It has to come into the hands of this whole guardianship of those that want goodness.
Yeah, I don't know if I can put it exactly in the language, in the framework that you just used, but like, I think like if you look at Krishna consciousness, it's like sort of so gentle and communitarian, and we've been fed these programming and beliefs about how that's useless or that's not, you know, profitable, and so there's a lot of resistance. But now a lot of the powers that be are crumbling, and you know, sort of the economic instruments that have been extracting crumbs out of all the different pies to sort of keep all the different pies being baked and extracting crumbs until there's only these tiny little pieces left for people to actually eat. You know, those systems are breaking down, and so maybe the impediments to people, you know, people just practicing their true dharma, whatever it is. You know, maybe it's like a helping profession,
doing what we love, right?
Yeah,
I got another song for you really quick. This one's a short one, but this for me is the God, I should just take off these earplugs and do it without this thing. But this one's like, this is a short one, but it's totally cool. I love this one. Find a way to do what you love, and the earth will shine like the stars above. 'Cause what you love is who you are, and you were born to shine like a shining star. I wrote all these songs like pre-menopause, and my high notes are like not there anymore. I was like, but yes, you're saying find a way to do what you love, and the earth will shine like the stars above, right? Because what you love is who you are, and you were born to shine like a shining star. I see you shining so bright. I see you lighting up this night. So find a way to do what you love, and the earth will shine like the stars above. 'Cause what you love is who you are. You were made to shine like a shining star. I see you shining so bright. I see you lighting up this night. Yay, shine on.
Thank you so much. I want to learn that one, honestly. Maybe so your songs are all on YouTube, right?
Yeah, well,
to listen to.
That one isn't.
Oh, that one
but
isn't.
A lot of mine are on YouTube, yeah.
Maybe I'll.
Sarah Sparkle 1. If you go
Sarah
to youtube.com/Sarah Sparkle 1. I come from the Sparkle people in the 15th dimension, the Kesa. They're the Sparkle people.
Can I read you a quick poem? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead. Poem,
yeah,
no, a poem about dolphins.
Oh my
Speaking
God.
Of sparkles,
yes.
Speaking of sparkles, I have a poem about dolphins. And speaking about sacral root manifestation blockage and a clearing, I'm teaching a dream yoga class tonight at 7, centered around the sacral. So, you know, I don't know, we'll see I'm really excited to explore it gently and see if people bring
Oh my
sacred
gosh, I'll
dreams.
come.
Sure,
Yeah,
we're
send me the
welcome to
link.
come. Okay, sure, yes. And so I will read this poem, and I almost want to make into an experiment too, like as we listen to this poem, I'm personally open to receiving like a one word message to carry through to the rest of my day. So I'm just saying that you can
Okay.
play too if you want, but you don't have
I've
to.
got lots of songs that were channeled by the dolphins. So
You have
I'm
dolphin
like,
songs? Oh
yeah.
wow. Okay, well here we go.
Yes.
This poem is by Mei, MEI-MEI, Bersenbrugge. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Berssenbrugge. And it's called Singing.
Oh.
All day I feel the approach of dolphins. Their thoughts are in my mind. When I swim, my cells attune to them, because ocean's full of vibrations that transmit to water in my body. It's a repository of primordial data from space. All creatures in water can access the acacia. Tones entering my cells transform into feeling, an awareness of two worlds at once. I send back my thought, picture, feeling, and together we form new vibrations of knowledge that have been dormant in me. They're here. I swim out of the cove toward them. So happy, I hum, and their answering chorus reverberates across water. We know each other. One dolphin is still far below me. Her form takes shape as she rises silently in bright blue, motionless, sunlit. Thank you for showing yourself, fulfilling a deep longing within my deep memory. I empty my mind and listen for her reply, which comes as waves of emotion. A cloud surrounds me. I expand into stillness and receive tones, conveying information very fast. They teach me to hum, to whistle, and to sing. Sound amplifies my body across open water. Even their joyous play has the sensation of creating space. And when they sleep, stars augment their frequencies. We converse by mind cell helixes of images and feeling. Cosmic legacy, cosmic extension, imprint holographically on my heart neurons as dolphin empathy. These are sounds which can stop time, alter surroundings, or shift dimension. Swimming, I lose my sense of place, even physicality, and connect with collective love. They teach me to join my aura to the cosmos by spiraling with me in sound star tetrahedrons and to love those with whom we merge. Then being is healing through innocence when the animal becomes the teacher. One dolphin swims towards me. I open telepathically and respond. I practice this method of reflection to contact life forms in other space who are trying however they can to meet us. Sirius radiates high frequencies to lighten the dark, denser planets. Dolphins travel to and from such a planet through diagrams like songs on ocean floors. They wish us to participate in overlighting the collectivity of souls in our galaxy and ally with them to access the space sister brotherhood through these planetary vortices. Dolphins catalyze starlight to refresh water on Earth. Transference between species is both cellular and holographic or geometric. For example, my friend's body in 3D in front and 4D in the back. She exists across dimensions while appearing so ordinary in her yellow shirt and blue slacks as we walk to the shore. Memory is vibratory, like DNA, condensed light, she volunteers. You and I relate through our mutual past on Sirius, in Glastonbury, Santa Fe. So I repeat their joyous staccato syllables. I listen to podcasts of no singers and tune to high pitches the Pleiades use for propulsion into our atmosphere. Using the star codes of dolphins, we have attributes and realities we're not aware of. Dolphins reside in these dimensions like dreams in oceans. They swim within magnetic streams of other entities, angels we've invented, others' heavens, cyclic destiny. I glimpse one jump from its energy band, attracted by my friend's intense aura. He shows me Earth's sister planet, replicated by sound, as we co-created by singing, sitting in her yard, gazing at the ocean under the pine trees. There are messages in clouds, in wavelets on granite, cicada and meadowlark calls. Space travelers materialize morphogenetically from local beauty and merge with us. They enable travel between time and stars by projecting tones just ahead of the consciousness of the person migrating. The way dolphins pass me so fast, I don't see the bubbles until they're far, far out of sight.
Wow, that's deep. Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you for that.
Enjoy.
Oh, wow. The sun came through the skylight as you were reading, and all of a sudden now I'm like bathing in sunlight.
Wow.
Oh, sunlight. Speaking of bathing in
Enjoy it.
sunlight. Oh, yeah, it's so beautiful.
Well, thank you for witnessing this poem.
Where'd you find that one?
I just read poetry. I just read poetry magazines and things from time to time.
So beautiful. Yeah, in 2005, when I was sitting right here in this living room, the Dolphins started sending these songs to me from the ocean, the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah.
And the first one they sent to me, the very first one they sent was just like a really short little ditty, which I kept making into more and more and more verses. I'm gonna just take this thing off, I think. Someday I will just take this thing off and sing. My housemates are here. Okay. And I'll just sing the first part. It goes, creatures of the water, swimming in ocean blue, we honor you. We send out this prayer of love to you. This is a lullaby. This is a lullaby to great Mother Earth. That was from them. This is a lullaby. This is a lullaby to great Mother Earth. To great Mother Earth. It kind of goes on from there, but
That's so beautiful.
yeah, that was a sweet one.
So you received that song, yeah.
And then they sent me the Unity song, which I had a really good slideshow for the Unity song, but some of the pictures were not public domain, so I had to take it down.
Yeah,
Are you
they've
guys
gotten
off?
really strict on that.
Oh, yeah, and so I had to take it down because they keep like if my content isn't totally original, they like police me on YouTube, and I've had to take a lot of stuff down because in the beginning I'd like get a song and I'd just like grab photographs willy-nilly, just like, oh, this one's perfect, oh, this one's great, and then later I'm like, oops, none of that's mine. I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
So like the song that the very first song I started singing, that one's on a different channel because I've got copyrighted images, so I have to get I got work to do.
You have
Anyway,
yes.
my dear, how's
Well,
your
thank you for
time? Yeah, we had a good, that was a wonderful connection.
This was beautiful. I think just like as I'm already noticing the time, and I feel that even though that we didn't like sink down into a channeling session, I feel that our guides were present, like infusing the whole conversation, and we were receiving a lot of intuitive information, accessing a lot of intuitive information together. And I feel really complete. I feel really complete connecting to the dolphins and the field of flowers, and sort of talking about how we're already sort of on this journey of manifesting higher resonances. And I think that those are some really beautiful messages for today. What do you think?
I do too. I think it's really lovely. I mean, maybe we could just timestamp some of the topics, and when we put this video up, we can tell people what the topics are on the certain timestamps.
That sounds like it could be helpful, yeah, for people.
Yeah, it's really good, because if people are really interested in a certain topic, they can just go to that topic. And yeah, let's think about if we want to do a regular podcast, and what we might want to call it: blossoming in love.
Wow.
Expanding in consciousness, awakening in love.
Those things all feel really nice to mix into the stew. Blossoming, awakening, expanding.
Or maybe let's think about it. Could be like multi-dimensional awakening. Awakening, or just awakening in love, awakening to love.
Awakening feels good. Strategy was also hilarious, because last time on the phone we were talking about strategy. And it's
strategy sounds so militaristic.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
The strategic military man's strategy is to attack this country and then that one, and then everything will fall.
You could even say like awakening to blossoming. Or anyway, there's so much to play. We can keep brainstorming on that.
We'll keep playing with it. Sounds good.
Yeah. Well, let's keep playing, and I'll see you on the Facebook Messenger, and we'll be in the loop.
Okay, sweetie.
All right. Till next time. Thank you, you too. Bye.
Bye.